I'll be in a doghouse if I don't do that.
Here's the date today. Oh, it's the 8th. Okay, let's just get things sorted out. Hello. If there's anyone watching, just trying to get myself set up. As per usual, nothing goes through. Hope you've all had a good week. In lovely sunny England. Now, why does nothing work straight away? I'll tell you what, I think Facebook's definitely trying to kick us off. Because you don't even get notifications anymore. It doesn't even look like we can go live on it. We shall see. We shall see. I'm pretty sure that's why Russ set up the YouTube channel. Yeah, still not even up on mine. Yeah, we're live on YouTube, so that's right. That's something. There we go.
You corresponded exactly what I said at the same time.
What's that?
Well, you said, why does nothing work? And I was just cursing at the TV screen when I was when I was ready to go. Right, that's charging. Are you ready, Mr. Paul Kent?
Go for it.
Are we live on Facebook?
It hasn't come up on mine yet.
Right, here we go. You ready? Oh, I better take the talk off.
It's now time for you to sit back in your chair and relax. Let your mind wander into the deepest, darkest parts of your brain. Russ will take you on a journey through the unexplained.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to Journey Through the Unexplained. It's the 8th of February 2024, and my lovely, wonderful co-host, Mr. Paranormal Paul. Are you there?
I am. How are we doing? All good?
I am all good in the hood. I think we're live. I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to the lovely Philip Solomon that has taken us through the last hour over on Pulse Talk Radio. I have only catch the end of it because I was on a late shift tonight. So on a late shift, it is a mad last 20 minutes. I say these, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, got to do that, got to click this button, got to click that button. There's always something that goes a little bit Pete Tong somewhere. What's gone Pete Tong tonight? I don't know at the moment. We'll cross that bridge. Yeah, but no, thank you ever so much to Philip for the last hour over on Pulse Talk Radio. If you have joined us coming over from Philip's side, welcome. It's nice to have you along. We are a little bit different from Philip. We go a little bit deeper and darker into conspiracy theories, paranormal, you name it, we talk about it. We don't intend to upset anybody, but we have in the past known to upset people, but we don't mean to. We generally do not mean to upset anybody. But we're here, we're live. As you can see, I've got no headphones on, but that might change because I don't know if you're going to get feedback. Paul isn't witnessing any feedback at the moment, which is good. I don't think anybody on the streams are also got feedback as well. So it looks like Facebook is is clicking in because we have got Sandra that has joined us over on Facebook saying good evening, boys. So
Evening, Sandra.
we should be live on all platforms, YouTube and live on Facebook live streaming. So you'll see our ugly mugs. But if not, if you are listening on the radio, you are generously lucky because you don't see our ugliest mugs. So, you know, that's the best way to do it because you don't see us. Do we know what we're going to talk about this week? No, we haven't really got a clue. We've got a little bit, but Paul's going to be leading it tonight. He's going to be teaching me something, taking us down to some conspiracy theories, some big news as well, obviously coming out of the US over the last couple of days. But as I normally do, Mr. Paranormal Paul, how has your week been?
Not too bad, actually. Yeah, not too bad. I took Monday and Tuesday off work just to get a few bits finished off around the house, and it was nice. It was pleasant. Just a bit of me and wifey time. Kids are at school, getting things finished off. So yeah, this is my second day back at work this week, so it's been lovely.
Oh, rub it in.
Yeah.
There's something in the air. I'm telling you, there's something in the air with where I work. I won't mention where I work just in case people are watching, but there is definitely something in the air with that side of things. I think it must be something to do with the full moon because they are driving me insane. I'm telling you. But it's nice to see you back in the office or you're back in the studio. We're building a studio we can see.
Still not decorated yet. Just tidied up so I can actually get in here now. It's not a dumping ground at the moment. So,
but for anybody over on Facebook and YouTube, we can see that we've got the Millennium Falcon on one side of Paul's shoulder, and I can definitely see the Ecto One hiding on the other side. Unfortunately, I wished if I could turn my whole room around to be like that, I would. But unfortunately, I'm behind the green screen. I've still got Christmas presents and I've got an oven situated behind me. So no, that's why I have to have a green screen on because of where I'm positioned. But I would kill to have my haunted shelf highlighting my background rather than a cooker. But I can't, unfortunately. I can't.
No, she sort of gave me free rein in this room, but she said, don't go overboard. She said, it's going to be your radio room as well and an office, but don't go overboard. When she first said that, I think I'm going to have an alien there. I'm going to have a light there.
yeah, that's it. You at least got to have a poster of some sort in there. Like,
that's what I'm thinking.
We
just
come in peace.
Area.
Yeah, we come in peace or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like you've had a nice peaceful week. You've only had 2 days at work.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. I can't do this.
Struggling.
I'm struggling. Just for the sheer fact is I'm Matt and Jeff, and I can't really hear Paul. And I think if I do that now, I think I'm going to hear Paul quite nicely.
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah, it's all right.
So much better. It feels like I'm talking to you at a distance. I just couldn't do it. Felt like you were so distant from me and you wasn't in my ear. So
and you look naked without your headphones on, Russ, doing this.
Yeah, I felt that. It's like doing a ghost hunt with no hat on.
Yeah.
You know, I always have to have a hat on when I do it. Yeah, that's how it makes me feel. I feel, So if I don't have my headphones on, something's not right. Sandra said, I'll text her later, Paul. I'm assuming you... let us know who's in the chat, guys and girls. Put your name in the chat. Say hello. Let us know where you're watching and where you're coming from. And we're going to get into a chat. Today, it's been, for me, Paul, just to let you know, you've had a good week. I've had a crap week. So we're not going to go on about it anymore. Simple as. Well, I just want my week to end.
One more day, mate. One more day.
One more day. Natalie is watching as well. So if we've got any listeners that are tuned in, have got any sort of spiders or things like that they look after, please can you make sure that you go and check out the Bug Hut at White Elm Garden Centre over in Bicknaker in Essex, CM3 4LR. And they've also got a reptile hut as well. So please go and give that a good follow and a look into, guys, both on Facebook, as you can see. And it is brilliant for all your bits and pieces. So make sure you follow them, guys. But let's get into it then. Let's get where we're going. We're going to go quite deep today, I feel. I feel this is going to be a deep show.
Well, we never know.
I do. I feel it's going to be deep. I do.
Why is that? Why is that? Why do you feel it's going to be deep?
Because I think
you know what? All I thought was we just chat about what's going on in the world at the moment, mate. It's been a little while since we've done a little bit of that, so
yeah. But I think it's what we know where it's going. Let's just say that there's a massive hidden agenda.
I must admit, I do get a bit passionate as well when I.
Yeah, but this one is, obviously, we're going to start with the farmers' protests in, I believe it's France and the EU. Is it, or is it just in France?
No, it's all over Europe. We've started over here as well. Not quite on the same scale at the moment, but hopefully it will build. But yeah, and I think the United States are jumping on the bandwagon as well with that. So yeah, it's going worldwide at the moment, I think.
Heidi has joined us all the way from Denmark. So I don't know what it's like in Denmark regarding the farmers' revolt, so to speak, but I'm assuming Heidi will let us know when we start talking about this. So just give us a rough explanation into this and the conspiracy and the stuff behind it, because I do think this all links to sort of the Bill Gates sort of side of things as well, doesn't it? So
yeah, I tend to lean that way, definitely. I mean, how is it that man can now be involved in agriculture? He's just got his fingers in so many pies, and it's like everything he touches, he destroys. He's been banned from so many bleeding countries, but I mean, to think the man started off by creating viruses for computers and then making the software that beats the viruses for the computers, that's a win-win, isn't it? But
he's a very
smart
clever
man.
Yes, very clever in how he does it and how he goes about his business. Let's just say that. If we had probably an inkling of his brain and his wealth, I would be very happy.
Well, it's more his wealth, isn't it? It's not his brain. Yeah. I mean, the man, I don't think has actually created anything. It's the people he pays that does all the creating. He's just a front man, He's the poster boy for it. He takes all the reward and pays someone else to do all the work. So I suppose fair play to him on that count, but if you're going to take all the reward, you've got to take all the criticism as well, But no, it's basically your farmers standing up for themselves. They've just been battered and battered and battered. At the end of the day, I don't know if you've seen it, the yellow poster with a tractor on it. No farmers, no food, which is true. With the sanctions and that put on farmers nowadays, especially with this climate nonsense, it's becoming more and more impossible for them to make a living doing what they do. And you've got the big corporations, supermarkets and that paying next to nothing for the goods they're getting off the farmers, but they're still selling it at extortionate prices. It's the same thing with the eggs. When everyone was told there was a shortage of eggs. It was all the farmers posting, no, there isn't. We got all the eggs here. We're standing in front of thousands of them. But the supermarkets wouldn't pay the rise in price for the farmers for the extra costs that they had to put out to produce the eggs. And, with the electric and this and everything else that they use, But the supermarkets all put their prices up for the eggs, saying that there was a shortage. You know, some of the eggs, they quadrupled in price, didn't they? And they still haven't gone down now. But none of that was pushed on to the farmers. Well, why are you selling them at such a high rate, but not passing that money on to the farmers, you know? And it's sort of escalated from there, I think. I mean, with the government subsidies that they give farmers now. So that's all sort of being changed. And they want to try and get rid of livestock farming for some strange reason. They want to import everything. Why is beyond me. Surely that's going to cost more, especially with all the restrictions and that coming across the waters and that now since Brexit. But so basically with the government subsidies for farming, from what I can work out, they're now telling people if you've got it's hectares, isn't it? If you can't, it's not classed as acres, is it? Farmland, it's hectares.
No, it's hectares. Yeah, hectares. Yeah.
So if you've got so many hectares, now what you can do, you can either grow cereal like corn, oats, and this sort of thing. Then, if you harvest it, the subsidies from the government isn't as much as if you grew it and left it for wildlife and things like that. So if you just grow that whole crop, don't harvest it, leave it
Get more
to
money.
die off, leave it to die off, rot away, and then do the same next year, you get more money. And in some cases, it's double the amount of subsidies. Now, why? It's beyond me. When you've already, according to the mainstream media, there's a shortage of food and that already.
But
so why are you trying to push it?
I'm assuming that would be for the reasoning. My logic brain, okay, is that if they don't grow anything on that field, that they get paid a lot of money not to grow it and not to harvest it. So,
for some weird reason, they're getting more money to grow it. If they just left it in soil,
So it's what they know. They're not to harvest the crop.
No,
just let it die.
They'll get more money from the government.
So
I think it was £1,000 a week for so many hectares.
So in my head, that would symbolise that the government could turn around in about 5-10 years' time and say, "Well, you've never harvested that field before, so we can build on it. It's no longer classed as greenbelt."
But the other way of looking at it as well, which I thought of, was the one main thing they're pushing at the moment is the climate crisis. I hate doing that. I don't know why I keep doing that. Climate crisis. And what's one of the main things that produces CO2? Is rotting, trees, grass, flowers. That what gives off one of your main CO2 releases into the atmosphere. Rotting, what do you call it? Foliage. I don't know. So,
yes.
And that's all you're going to do then, isn't it? You're going to add to that.
So then it makes the climate. It makes the climate.
It makes the figures
crisis
look a bit better, doesn't it? Oh, look, it's rising again. It's rising again.
Yeah.
That's where my sort of head first went. But no, now you've said what you just said. That kind of that makes a lot of sense as well.
It probably both. To be honest with you, there's probably about another 5 reasons why they're doing it for longer down the line.
Yeah.
To hide this, and to, you drive through, unfortunately, like me and yourself, Paul, we're sort of London bound. We class ourselves as London, and we don't see much green. We see a little bit of green, but we don't see the expanse of green. Like when we went to eat, you drive to East Drive.
Drive up there, it was green the whole way there, wasn't
it? You break sort of probably just past Cambridge, I'm assuming. It was probably around about then. Yeah. And then you just see green.
I remember saying to Scotty driving up there after a sort of couple of hours coming home, or the last couple of hours going there. I remember saying to him, "Do you know, I've seen one sort of town driving this way. All the rest was just filled the whole way, and then one town. And that's a long drive to do, just seeing one town."
It's no different to when we drive to Wales. When we drive to Wales, you sort of get past Reading, Swindon, down the, is it the M4? Not the M4, the M3, isn't it? I think.
Oh yeah, it could be the M3.
I think it's the M3, and then you get past Reading, Swindon, where you've seen like all, and it's like green. Then you get to sort of like Bristol, and you get another little town. Then you cross into Wales across the bridge, and you get like Cardiff, and then you get green, and then you just get green everywhere. So, you know, we unfortunately live in an area where we don't see as much green as, you know. Not to say that we're splitting the country, but the north do get the better side of green than what.
Yeah, we're quite an industrial area, aren't we?
Yeah.
But you saying that about London now. Apparently, this is true. So the amount of trees in London per square mile, that's classed as a forest.
Right. So we live in a forest.
It's a concrete jungle, isn't it? London, that's
they do say it, don't they? They
but
do say
the amount of trees per square mile in London, that would be classed as a forest.
But they do plant a lot of trees to take out the sea, because the London plane, the London plane, I don't know if you've seen it. If you walk down the road and you see the tree that the bark peels off.
Yeah.
That's called the London plane. And
Right.
that's what that does. It takes all the carbon monoxide out the air, and it puts it into its bark, and just the bark just peels, and it regenerates itself, and peels, regenerates itself. And you see them normally, the London plane will grow where the buses go under them to like a bit cut out. So they get quite big. So yeah, you can, you know, for climate control, you know, what better can we have than
trees?
A living organism that is taking the CO2 out of the air and just dumping it into bark.
Yeah.
That we could put on our gardens. But they're telling us that, you know, they're using the farmers not to grow their food.
And to get rid of like 3/4 of their livestock because of the methane output, because of their farts and things like that, which is just ridiculous to me. I mean, you know, the farming that's been going on over thousands of years, all of a sudden we got 5 years left because the cows are farting. I mean, people that believe this, sorry, it's just beyond me.
But
it really is. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot more farm livestock now than I'd say there ever was, for the amount of people we got to feed. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that there's more animals than there ever was. There'd be a lot less animals than there ever was because we take them all out.
This is where my head goes with all this farming conspiracy stuff. You know, I'm with you with that. I don't, and you know, don't take this the wrong way, vegetarians and vegans. I don't take it. Without us, meat eaters, them animals don't live.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I don't mean that in a nasty way, but what would be their purpose?
They're bred for meat.
You know, you're not going to take your pet cow for a walk around the street. You're not going to take your pet pig for a walk around the street. You're not going to have lambs in your back garden. What would be, you know, if no one's going to have a flock of cows, or a herd of cows, I should say. It makes, I'm sorry, it sounds harsh, but that's my take on it. I don't know what would happen if meat eaters wasn't there. What would happen to especially if you was vegan, if everyone turned vegan, What would be the point of the cow? Because you can't have the milk, you can't have the meat. What else? What's it there for? No farmer is going to have 50 pet cows. No one's going to have 50 pet cows. It just becomes a null and void animal. Same with pig. You know, people do have pet pigs. You know, gangsters have pigs to eat the bones.
Yeah.
But that would be it. You know, lamb. You know, vegans. What would lambs be good for? You can't use the hair. You can't eat the meat. What's it used for? Just to fill up the countryside. I don't mean that in a disrespect to vegans and vegetarians. I'm not saying that. That's your choice.
But it's a life cycle, isn't it? You know, all these farm animals and that graze on the grass and things like that. But that stops that grass from dying out and rotting away and everything that they eat. You know, it stops a lot of the CO2 that would be released into the atmosphere. But it's the circle of life, isn't it? It's everything is working as it should be. That is life, you know. Don't get me wrong. Yes, we tinker with things and this and that. But then going back to Bill Gates, you know, he's already opened up quite a few factories in America, hasn't he, of doing your bugs, because he wants us to eat bugs now instead of meat and all that. And some of the supermarkets have already started adding the bugs and that into their produce, the products that you're buying. So just make sure you check the ingredients when you buy them. Make sure they haven't been put in. And he's also big into the lab-grown meat now, isn't he?
But I just don't get it. Because you can grow as many bugs as you want. Thousands, billions of bugs. I get it.
He will corner that. They will be in complete control of what people eat. If you're getting rid of all farms and it's all solely coming out of factories and laboratories that he's building and creating, then that's one company controlling the world's food supply. You know, it's James Bond villain type, isn't it? Let's be honest. World domination. It's just
with this whole, string it all the way back with this farmer revolt thing. We obviously know that they're trying to turn the farmers' necks, string the farmers' necks, choke them to send them out of business. Okay,
so many had to fold up already. It's so sad.
And I think over the last couple of days, there's been quite a dramatic turn on that.
Yes, massively. Well, in Europe, it's been going a couple of weeks now, and it's just grown, got bigger and bigger, gone from strength to strength.
But the thing is that for me, there's loads of little bits that just don't add up, if that makes sense, on both sides of the story. Heidi has said many farmers have truly difficult surviving in their lines of work, also here in Denmark as well. None of it makes sense. I can understand the control, which we all know that the world wants. We all know that if we have certain formula or certain people, certain farmers that can control, one company that runs the whole meat throughout the world. I get all that. It's control. And, you either comply or you don't, so to speak. It's nice to see the farmers sticking up, and the UK hasn't followed in abundance to like the EU has. Blockades and, they were firing horse manure and cow manure.
Government buildings, brilliant.
They've gone full bore. I don't think that would ever happen in Britain. I just can't see it. I hope it does, for the sake of how our meat industry, but it's all about the control in my eyes. I don't necessarily think it's stopping you from eating meat. I don't think that comes under it. I think they're stringent to strike it all the way back to the way they has to get to a point of rationing. How better to control the masses than rationing?
Yeah.
It's a very simple formula to control people's behaviors, people's movements, people's well-being. You know, once a week you can go shopping, you can have 3 slices of steaks, 1 chicken, that's it. 12 eggs, a pint of milk. That's all you can have. It's becoming like control, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like that thing that was it the World Economic Forum that brought it out for 2030 when I get the point. You were only allowed to buy 3 items of clothes a year, wasn't it? And things like that. Yeah. I mean, it's ludicrous.
And that's where I think we are. I do think we're in that point now where, you know, the EU have, you know, the EU and Brussels has just got to go. That's as simple as it gets.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I can't see. I do think it's on its last legs, especially within Europe. I know we're out of it, so to speak, or
it's non-democratic as well, isn't it? No one's the people in charge here. Not a single one of them's been voted in. They've all just sort of
land on their feet.
Yeah.
But do you not feel that's just how that works, though? Pals of pals, friends of friends.
Yeah, but
comply.
Yeah, I know a lot. It's everyone's standing up against it, and that's what it's also about as well. You know, it's about, you know, the world sort of lost its place. The government are not there to control the people. The government are there to work with the people and work for the people. And that seems to have got forgotten. And that's why a lot of the uprising is as well. The amount of corruption and everything that's gone on, especially over the last 4 years, with everything. I think that's just turned the tables. You know, enough's enough. We need to fight back here. Otherwise, they're just going to destroy us all. So, no more power to them.
But do you not feel that this may have happened over the years? Do you not feel that this is just another circle? You know,
yeah, I think so. I mean, but
you know, you go back through like, what was it, Cromwell's Peasants' Revolt? Do you know that? You know, look at Guy Fawkes against the government, and you know the civil wars in this country. We're told certain things, but there has been an uprising against governments in the past. A few times within the UK. Going around the world, I'm not too sure, but in the UK, yes.
It's where the Magna Carta come from, you know, and the law of the land and the common law and things like that, you know, which is still alive to this day, you know. It's still, people still have to abide by that. And the governments aren't. You know, they're gradually trying to change everything just to suit their way of thinking. You know, you do as you're told, and that's it. Don't do what we do because they're completely different to us. You know, they want us to go on holiday once, maybe every 3 years, but they can go out 5 times a year. They can fly here, there, and everywhere, but we can't.
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that. You know, so yeah, I agree with you, but it takes people to get pushed, put on their knees, you know, to stand up and fight back. Same with the poll tax riots, you know, same thing happened there with Thatcher and that. They overturned it. There's more of us than there are of them, and if people did stand together, and this is where I think what we do struggle in this country, is getting everyone to stand together. You know,
I just don't think it will happen. I don't think
No.
it will happen because I think, unfortunately, I do feel that the UK was a massive guinea pig when COVID hit.
Mm.
I think we were one of the big guinea pigs, along with Australia, China, for the World Economic Forum, just to see. I think they would have pushed it further if certain things never got leaked, or unless they got leaked on purpose to see how the people would react. Who knows? I don't know, but I think we are now in a place where we are so divided in this country. We've always been divided with government because we've always been, the UK's always only ever been red and blue, Conservative and Labour. We've had we've had flittings with the Liberal Democrats when it was a collab government. We've had flittings with obviously Nigel Farage and his party, but no one's ever really broke the structure of the two main parties. We've always been divided by government, but
That's the other thing.
never have we been this divided with government at this moment in time. Never.
But
and
sorry, go on.
I was just going to go down. Look at the ULEZ thing. This ULEZ thing. We tried to revolt. They tried. It hasn't worked. It's not worked. It's still there. The cameras that I used to see that were down are still remaining up. And there used to be one that I used to drive past every week. It used to go up, used to go down, used to go up, used to go down, used to go up, used to go down. It's been up for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks now. It's not down. I just feel like it's very British. If we don't get what we get, we give up too quickly. And that's where I think we are within the UK. We think about the farmers' revolt within the EU. This isn't just an overnight thing. They've been persistent for months upon months and they never give up. They were continuously, week in, week out, firing horse manure on government buildings. It wasn't just a 5-week thing and a couple of Facebook groups. This was structured. This was hit. This was, we are not going to stop throwing shit at your buildings until you admit it.
Yeah.
The UK doesn't, if it doesn't go within 5 or 6 weeks, it feels like it, it's never going to work. Sod this. I could get caught by the police and I don't want to be put in prison. That's how it feels with me. You look at the Dartford crossing, you look at the ULEZ charge. It's a simple fact is no one pay it. No one. You cross it, don't pay it. Cross it, don't pay it. Let them take the whole country to court. They're not going to do it. If everyone just says, no, we're not paying it, we're not paying it, we're not paying it, we're not paying it, someone will always pay it because they're frightened. But as the surround, let's say within the M25 just refused to pay it, everyone refused to pay it, what can they do? They can't take everybody to court. They can't. It's physically impossible. They can't arrest. How many people would you say lives within the M25? 15 million? 20 million?
Look at the amount of traffic that goes through there every day. The amount of money that thing makes is astronomical.
And this is what I'm saying. If none of us paid it,
but
we would never get that back in.
No, I do get what you're saying, but he's up against it again, Khan, because apparently the new stats out. He's the pollution's rising in London and the outer skirts since the ULEZ was expanded. So not only was he lying about what he's going to do, he's gone the complete opposite to what he said he was going to do. And all he's doing now, in my eyes, is he's just filling his coffers because he knows he's going to get out. He ain't going to get in again for another term. And
But can I just ask you that one question?
Go on.
Do you think he is not? See, I got a strong feeling he'd be voted in again.
I don't think so. If he gets in again, that just shows a level of corruption. But
I think they quite brazenly do that.
Yeah,
I think because they've done it. Let's do it. They're doing it quite willingly in the USA at the moment, and showing it to your face and laughing at the people.
Yeah, but he's fighting. Sorry, go on.
I just think it's getting to a point where they're going, you know what? We ain't sodding about with you lot no more. This is what you're going to get. Like it, lump it. The only way they're going to really do it if something drastic happens. I just can't see the UK doing that. I can't.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, the Cherry Tree car park down the road from me, that had a big ULEZ thing at the weekend. I didn't know nothing about it, to be fair, until I drove past it. They had a fun day for the kids, but they were all there with their banners and everything like that. And I'm seeing the opposite to you at the moment, Russ, to be fair. Yeah, all right, I do see some of the cameras going back up, but I'm still seeing them all getting chopped down again. It is an ongoing thing. And, you know, like you say, providing we're as persistent as the French when they go off on one, you know, it would eventually, and they are still fighting against it. It's not going to happen overnight. But now, like I say, now these statistics are coming out to prove that it ain't done a damn thing to help reduce pollution. Then hopefully, fingers crossed, that will sway our way. But there's a lot of money he's still making. But then there's a lot of people not paying as well.
But that's just got. Everyone's not got to pay. As soon as one pays,
I totally agree with you. I'm 100% with you on that one, mate. Every single person needs to go. Nope, not doing it.
You just look at how many people within the M25 changed their cars. How many people did it?
Yeah,
I feel sorry for them all because they should have just gone. You know what? No, we're not changing our cars, and I'm not paying you money. No, exactly, because you was backed into a corner. How many people? You know. I mean this with all disrespect, all respect, and no disrespect. Is you complied with him?
Oh, I know. Yeah,
you know, and but this is how I'm saying we shouldn't be doing that. That's how they're doing it in other countries. They're not complying with with the government rules. Now,
no, but they had been. They'd been doing things that had been set out. This is why so many of them moved abroad to farm or stopped farming altogether or gave it up. You know, they have been conformings, but every time they conform to something, they throw another one at them. And they're just getting pushed deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is why they've gone, do you know what? Enough's enough. And perhaps we ain't quite there yet. You know, I'm not struggling. I know people that are really struggling at the moment. I am struggling, but I'm not like, you know, on my knees struggling. But I think push me a bit further, and sometimes that's what it takes. People just need to get pushed that bit further for everyone to go, do you know what? I'm not doing this no more. Enough's enough.
Yeah, but everything that we spoke about a year ago, right? And we can I think we can say, while you're saying like about people struggling, everything. So nothing's changed. Everyone's just accepting it. Everyone's now just accepting it. You know, the gas prices, the electric prices, the cost of living crisis has all gone up. Everything's gone up. The price of petrol has gone up.
Yeah. But because it's not thrown in your face as much as it was.
No, but this is what I'm saying. We're accepting it, and then everyone will go, it's all gone up. But just like yourself, you're not comfortable, but you're not on your knees. Okay? Pretty much like majority of people, because we've accepted that the new prices are livable. So they're not going to reduce them prices because people are surviving. And their way out is saying, well, you're surviving, but we've put the prices up. Why would we bring them down while you're surviving? Because you're not living a very high life like most people, just what they want. They've controlled us in ways that we don't foresee. We take for granted, you know, we have to pay our electric bill. We have to pay our gas. We're stuck between the devil and the deep blue sea. And we can revolt as much as, but how can we revolt against that? Because if we don't pay it, I do believe there is some form of loophole that if you don't pay it, they can't shut you off.
No, they can't. Well, your electric gas is actually paid for. That's all paid for in your taxes that you pay. What you're paying for is... So, because I remember doing this show about this probably about a year ago, half a year ago, when I researched it back then. I think it's in the other book. So basically, all you're paying for is the privilege of the company that's now sending you the bill to say, right, we're supplying you that gas now and that electric. So you're going to pay us for the privilege of basically putting there, because regardless of what company you go with, it all comes from the same place.
Yeah.
It's all paid for and it all comes from the same place. It's an extra bill just for the privilege to someone say, okay, I'm sending you that now. That's all it is.
The prices here are going down because they can't explain why they should be so high. No ground to keep the prices up. They are not all down. The electricity is still too high, but lowering. In Denmark,
We're told how it's going up again, isn't we?
Yeah, as it's going up. For what reason? But
probably the war in Ukraine again, isn't it? You know, that's what everything else is blamed on.
But do you not see we're being controlled again and led down? Because I don't know about you, I listen to free stations. I listen to TalkSport. I listen to Heart 90s, and I listen to Heart 80s and Radio X. Right, four stations max that I listen to, and virtually every other advert on them stations. Right, I know two of them are linked. The global thread, which is Radio X and Heart, I think. But it's all you hear is Octopus Energy.
Yeah.
Help. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
We can offer you affordable prices at good rates and blah blah blah. And you have all the and the older generation on there going, thank you for letting me join Octopus Energy. They're great to communicate with. They're lovely. They'll help you out. So everyone just picks up the phone and is now over to, I can guarantee you, if they're offering lower prices, people are going to be going, let's go and look at Octopus Energy and get our prices over. That's subliminal messaging. And now we're all going to go over to one gas host, an electrical host, potentially Octopus Energy. Then that all of a sudden be sold out to something like governmentenergy.com. And everyone is now signed up to one controlled, knowing your money way, because they're selling it along the lines of it's cheap. And people, you know, like me, you, our ears would prick up and go, oh, cheaper gas prices. You know, if you save yourself 40 quid a month on your electric and said 40 quid a month on your gas, you're going to bite their hands off. It's nearly 100 quid a month. And we are being, I do feel like this farmer revolt thing is the same sort of thing. It's that subliminal messaging, like, you know, like the eggs and all that.
Yeah, but it's working though, because like you said, you know, we was talking about this a year ago, you know, and like you said, individually, yeah, we're coping. And I remember saying it back then, revolution's coming, mate. It's the big uprising. It's going to happen. I didn't think it would take as long as what it has, but to me, I'm thinking it started. But like you say, when you're getting these messages from Octopus Energy saying you're going to save you a lot of money, and that picks people's ears up, and they go, why do you think these protests are not on mainstream media? Because they don't want no one knowing about it, because it's going to prick their ears up and say, hang on a minute, what are they fighting against? They're going up against the corrupt governments. They're tired of being pushed down and pushed down and pushed down. I'll have some of that, because they've had bus drivers, train drivers, taxi drivers. They've had support. Everyone. It's not just the farmers now. It's everyone's joining suit with them, because they cannot not see it over there, because it's everywhere. They've pretty much surrounded Paris. You can't get in and out of Paris. But being as they are, they've made sure they've left clearing paths for emergency services so they can get through if they need to. You know, it's a peaceful protest, and they've got the setup there to stay there for months. They've got food, drink, and you've got people coming in with supplies. So that's what needs to happen everywhere, for the government to go, okay, sorry, we're going to have to backtrack on that one.
I don't
This
think
is why it's never on mainstream media, mate, because it would prick people's ears up.
And I don't think it will happen in this country.
We'll see. It's already started. So
I think we're
obviously you haven't heard nothing on mainstream about it, but we'll see.
I don't think we ever will. I think the social media platforms that are dominant today are very much what's the word, vetted. You know, Platform X, things like that.
See, I love that since he's taken over. It's got so much better in my eyes.
It has, but I think it's lost. It's only it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a youngsters thing.
No, it's not.
I think, in a horrible sense, I think the younger generation are at a very losing battle, because I think we probably, I don't see much younger than me, give or take a couple of years. Lowest 37, 35 that will follow. I think we are the last of, the X, the Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I think, it's like Facebook's a dying thing, isn't it? And that's vetted, but it's very much kiddie bait, kiddie for kids and things like that.
Yeah, I think Facebook's had its day,
but I think Twitter's had its day for the younger generation.
Yeah, at the moment, I think, yeah, but you see what happens when is it going to be one of them that come round again? Possibly. You know, he's only got to throw a few things that way, old Musk. He's a smart man to draw the younger generation back into it.
I just don't know where he sits, though. I don't know where he sits.
Wants it to be. Yeah.
I think me personally, I think he's working for the other side, just like how I see it. I think he's very clever. He's like, not to say, I say this really tongue in cheek, and I don't mean it how it sounds, but I feel he thinks this. I think he's how I think this is run. If I was in power and I wanted the masses to follow me, Musk is doing what I would do to do it.
Yeah.
I think he lets out the crap and he lets out the truth, why someone like Facebook is censoring the truth and lets out what they want to hear. I think they are your two. For me, in this country, I generally feel I'm probably getting myself shot for saying this because I'm going to upset somebody, but I think we are divided by the same thing in this country. I think if you are conservative based, I think you can see through the conspiracy. I think if you're Labour based, I think you will stand by your government.
Mm.
That's how I see it. And that's why I think the masses come November or whenever the general election are called in this country, that we will see a swarm of red in this country, just the way that they want it to play out because of that.
That's the other thing as well, you know, our voting system. It's not proportion. Is it what you call it? Proportionate based? Is it? You know, if more people vote for that one party, it doesn't make it. You've basically got a choice of two: Conservative or Labour.
But yeah,
Same thing happened with UKIP. UKIP got more votes than both of them, yet they only won a couple of seats. Now, anywhere else in the world, UKIP would have been in power. You know, because it's based on the amount of votes you get. Whereas over here, they've set it up in just the right way for them. So, like the new party, Reform, you know, what there was in their manifesto sounds brilliant to me, and they're going up against it. And I think they're going to get a lot of votes. I think they're going to get a hell of a lot of votes. All they're going to do is gain a couple of seats. And this is where people differ. Like, you know, they go, hang on a minute, if I vote Reform, yes, it'll be a better place if they can get in and do their manifesto, but they're not going to get in. So do I then waste my vote for them, or do I vote for one of the two I know that's going to get in? So then I just put my vote on the way that I want it to go between them two. This is the trouble we've got in this country. This is what needs to be stopped.
And it will never be, because it's obviously the way it's been for years, isn't it? You know, we know that it's only two parties that you can vote for that are going to be in. And I think if you're a betting man, I would put my money on it that this time next year will be swarmed in Labour red. I can't see any other outcome apart from it, unless something drastic happens. You know,
If that does happen, something drastic might happen as well. But then, even if Conservative get in again, something drastic might happen as well.
Yeah, but
they've had their chance. They've ruined it. They've proved that they're corrupt as any other politician.
They're all corrupt. Everything that we look at are corrupt, you know, and they're all puppeteers, and they're just told to say things that this deep state or whatever this underlining government want them to say. And they've done it for years. I don't think this is anything new. I really don't. I don't think any of this, you know, controlling crap is new. I think they've been doing it for hundreds of years, and every so and so we get a mass, you know, civil war or, you know, revolt against it, and it just puts them back a peg or two, ready to go again. But this time, I feel like they're further down the line than they've ever been, because of the younger generation, how they've made them so powerful, and they've give power to the people. And that's...
But to the wrong people, to the minority of people. That's who's got power at the moment.
But I think everyone's got... No, you know, I've got to be careful of where I go and how I say this and, you know, what we say. But there's no shutting down of anything anymore. Anybody can be what they choose to be, what they want to be. There's no wrong or right anymore. You can't do this anymore. You can't do that anymore because you have rights. You have rights to this. You have rights to that. The power to the people has got out of control.
Mm.
And that's the issue that I have. And this is where I don't think that we will riot in our masses in this country, because we are so divided in this country.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a shift of what we were saying earlier, isn't it? You know, between the individual and the collective. This is where it needs to swap, the two of them, you know, because like you're saying, the powers, you're saying people have got too much power. Individually, you can never have too much power individually. You can be and do whatever you want to be. If that's you, you do you. Just don't try and tell me I've got to do it. You do you, I'll do me. That's where the power needs to shift. Don't try and tell everyone else that person's. You crack on, mate. If it makes you happy, you do whatever makes you happy. More power to you. Don't expect me to change my way, because that's not my way, is not the way you go. And vice versa. I wouldn't expect anyone to change to suit me in my own personal way I do things. But, and this, like you said, that's why you'll never get that stand up together.
Not in this country.
Unless it is a collective of pushing down. And a collective of rising up.
I just can't see that happening. In this country, I can't see this happening.
We'd only see it happen, mate, if it gets that bad. Because if things get bad enough, it will happen, because you wouldn't have a choice.
Yeah, but the sad thing is that we're relying on certain countries. We're relying on, particularly the French, probably the closest to us at this point, and how to do things correctly, how to do things that you don't agree with correctly. That's how you do it. If you don't want to pay, we get told on one hand that the price of petrol and diesel is going up, and then you get someone sat on GMB News or whatever it is saying, yes, we made a 65 billion pound profit this year. Fantastic. And we just allow it.
Yeah.
It's like sitting there going, yeah, whatever. We've had it for the last 50 years. What's it any difference? And they go, put it up and put it up and put it up. And we'll still sit there and go, well, we're going to know they make their profits. We can't change the British people. We're relying on other countries around the world. And then I think we were the last people. Well, hang on a minute. Why are France happening, and Sweden and Denmark and the US and places like that all going down? We're not. Why is that? Oh, because they've been rioting for the last 7 years. We're 7 years. No, then we're 14 years behind the black ball, aren't we? The 8 ball.
Yeah.
I can't ever see this, for me, they've give the farmers what they want in these other countries. What are they taking away is my question to them. Where they give, they take. What they're going to give and what they're going to remove is a whole different kettle of fish. We're only seeing that face of the underlying government stand up, wherever it is, and goes, okay, we give in, you've won, congratulations, have all your farms back, have all this back, have all that back. Yay, we've won. What's going on behind the scenes would be my question. What is their next move? Because they've got it. That's in my head. I know you're slightly different to my way of thinking.
Yeah.
I don't think we're as quick as what we think we are when it comes to we've won, we've got something. They've got plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P ready to play out, because I just think they've got that wealth and they want that full control. And I don't think we've ever been as close as a world collective or this one world order or this one world forum or this.
Oh, they're certainly pushing it big time, aren't they?
I think we are definitely over halfway to that control for me.
Mm.
And I think there is a slight part of me that, you know, give up. If that makes sense. It's like, I can't beat them. I'm not going to join them, but I'll slag them off and sit there for the ride because I can't stop it. I can't physically make the prices that should be going down. But the one people that can in all this make the cost of living. This is where my other side goes. So all these farmers have revolted against what they can't do and how they can't do it. And, you know, the prices of eggs and everything like that. Where's the business sense in that? Where is the business sense in that?
What do you mean?
Well, if that was me as a farmer, I'd be out saying, all right, then, sod, I'm not going to sell you to the supermarket. I'm going to sell you 6 eggs for 50p. 6 eggs, 50p. And
a lot of them started doing that. They started going, making local shops and this and that.
And that's what's got to happen.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
The supermarkets,
but it also needs people to buy direct from the farm.
But that's what I'm saying. These farmers, if every farmer in the UK had a farm shop, okay? I've been to many a farm shop over the last couple of years, and I tell you what, it's extortionate prices.
Mm.
Extortionate prices. When you could go into said amount of, you know, Tesco's, Asda's, whatever you want to do, all your supermarkets, and you will get it half price. The difference in this country is that the supermarkets can buy it in bulk and make it cheaper. If the farmers stuck to their guns and lost for a year, they would then make their pennies back over the comings.
Yeah.
Because your first year, you always lose in business. That's the old adage, isn't it? I think. But I'd rather go and spend my money at a local farmer's shop, which I do. Where the shop is, there's that lovely farm shop round the corner. Once in a blue moon. You know, my mum loves the jacket potatoes out there. So every week I pick up 6 jacket potatoes. Now, the 6 jacket potatoes has probably cost me 3 bags of potatoes out of Tesco's. But they're lovely.
Yeah.
But that's giving back to where that's come from. Can I go and buy a pork chop? Yes, I can. And they're bloody lovely. Do I? Yes, I do. Because it's giving back. Cost me an arm and a leg. But you know what? I'm buying it locally from someone who's got their own business.
Yeah. And but that's the trouble as well, isn't it? You know, people can't afford. That's the difference. You know, Christmas time, you're vegging at Tesco's and places like that, you know, 19p a bag. 19p a bag. You try and get a big bag of veg in the farm shop for 19p.
But this is what I'm saying. It may be different. It may be different in other countries. It might be different in other countries. And that's not. But in this country, and I'm not talking, you know, I'm talking about proper farmers markets. You know, there's a farm, stick a shop in your farm.
Mm.
You know, take your lamb and that to the abattoir, bring it back, sell it in your shop for what you can sell it for.
Yeah.
You know, you've still, at the end of the day, you've still got to send what you have off to the supermarkets to its, you know, it's no different. Bring it back to you, sell it. And you watch the people come. Watch the people come.
Mm.
You make it cheaper. You make it cheaper than the supermarkets. The supermarkets will start pricking their ears up and going, hang on a minute. Why is everyone going round to so-and-so, you know, Joe Blogg's Farmers Market. Why is everyone going there? Well, quite easily, because you can buy 6 eggs for 50p, or at Sainsbury's you can buy 6 eggs for £1.25. People I don't see how people's brains work sometimes. You know, these people in power are in power because they're making the monies, as we say. They're making the bucks. So the only way we're going to force their hand...
It can't be as easy as that, though, can it? You know, because for starters, you need a license to even sell, whether you're a farmer or not. It is, you know, there's got to be something stopping them all doing that.
It's probably contractual.
Yeah, I think it is.
They've probably signed a contract, but that contract would be up for renewal at some point. And you could, you know, you look at, I suppose I can say it, but you look at Jeremy Clarkson's. Do you ever watch Jeremy Clarkson? Have you ever watched The Farm?
I have seen it. Yeah.
And did you see when he put his own meat in his own shop, didn't he? He tried to do that.
Yeah, he said, I don't know how you do it.
But he did. He had a farm shop. He had his own cattle, pigs, or whatever. Sold it in his own farm shop. Look at the hassle he had from the local government, the council, that he had. You know, do I think it was the local council itself? No, I don't, because who in their right mind goes, actually, this gentleman is bringing loads of custom into our village, into our council, into our whatever you want area. Why would you kick that out?
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me. You know, I think, you know, he does a draw to like the legislation of things and what he can and can't do, but he was continuously being shut down for this, shut down for that, shut down for this, shut down for that.
And exactly, you know, and like you say, you know, with the farmers at the moment, contractual or not, for the amount of supply that the supermarkets take, that's still a guaranteed wage at the moment. You know, it's either they've got to find the money from somewhere to start up their own shop, because they'll probably have to change, I don't know, slaughter houses or whatever, this, that. There's got to be so much equity to put into it, to change it, to do it on your own. Whereas if you're staying as you are, you've got a guaranteed income coming in every month. So it's a huge thing, isn't it? You know, it's like someone saying to me, you know, leave that company and go and start on your own. Hang on a minute. Where do I start with that? It's, you know, I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but it would cost me probably everything I've got to set it off. But
yeah, I get all that side of stuff. I do get all that side of stuff, but for me, if there has to be something that them farmers are getting, because it would make they can't at the end of the day, they've got one season to produce probably beef and lamb, pork, whatever, to grow their cattle, to grow whatever, you know, and then it's sold off. So they must get a pretty penny for that. But surely, if they sold it in the singular, their own produce, at the front of their own house, that would make them more money, even on the first time of doing it. Because you know, you get a beef joint, out of Tesco's, it's going to cost you £9, between £5 and £9 at this present time.
More than that.
You know,
it's ridiculous amount they're charging in there.
But if he sold that for £4.50, or say £5 for a beef joint, feeds 4. and he had 12 of them, and he had one's a bit bigger and a bit bigger. And people would just naturally go there because it's cheaper.
Mm.
There must be something that they're getting why they don't do that. And that's why I sit on the fence with it a little bit, because I don't think we're aloof to everything that goes on.
Oh, God, no.
And if it was me as a farmer, if I was a farmer, I'd say, right, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to try it for a couple of years. I put everything on the line. I would promote my arse off and say, look, this is cheaper. This is cheaper. This is cheaper. This is cheaper than anywhere you go. You know, 6 eggs, 50p. 6 eggs, 50p. As long as you're making money on it, or 6 eggs, 90p, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I think you would make, it would, there's ways of doing stuff, and there's ways of doing it quickly, I suppose. I suppose my way would be longevity, because it would take a couple of years for every farmer to set up and sell, and then get Tesco's and Sainsbury's to start going, well, hang on a minute. And that would then force their hand to either bring their meat down, bring their cost of living down, you know, by them sort of people that supply us our food to start at the beginning. Start their own chain, you know, and I think that's how it would work in this country or all over the world. Start making the big wigs in these supermarkets think, hang on a minute, you know, that's not a bad idea. We'll do that. You know, you could knock that.
The trouble is they've already started doing their own sort of makeshift farms now, haven't they? These supermarkets, quick growing, quick picking, quick this, quick that. You know, and they'll put a stamp on it saying British farm. No, it's not. It's the corporates, quick turnaround farm and things like that. You know, so yeah. But anyway, I think good luck to them, mate, and I hope they do get a result out of it. I really do.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think they you know, power to the masses. Well done. Give them a big pat on the back. Keep going, boys, you know, and girls. Keep going. Keep fighting, because we can only support you with our voice at the end of the day, because
yeah.
And we can only sort of spread your word of what it's about and how it works. I don't think the UK would follow suit. I'm sorry to say. I think we're too prim and proper.
Yeah, I hope we do, but there we go.
So do I. I hope they see that what it can do.
Yeah.
But then we're 2 years behind the 8 ball anyway. So, you know, it might work in our favour. They might only have to, you know, do a couple of dumps.
I think the farmers can see the traction it's caused. You know, it's just they'll need the backing of the people as well, and that's the biggest thing, is getting the word out to the people. You know, through social media and everything like that. So, fingers crossed, we'll start to pick up a bit of traction, but we'll see how. Watch this space. That's all we can say on that one, isn't it?
I totally agree. I'd like to see a little bit of everything come down, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, just for the likes of everybody out there that is struggling and on their knees. And, you know, we're not working for anything at the moment, are we? We're working to survive.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we're working to live.
That's it. We're not working there. You know, there's no enjoyment. Not to say working's enjoyable anyway. That's not what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, the price of everything, you know, even if you did, so like, we're going on holiday, you know, that's all gone up.
Yeah.
You know, the UK's renowned for it. Any half term, 6 weeks holiday,
Oh,
Well,
of
let's
course.
triple the,
Doubles,
yeah, let's triple the money. Let's triple the money. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ludicrous. And you could look, I think we was looking the other day. I'm going to go off kilter here, but just because we're on it, we was looking the other day for a holiday in Easter, and we put in one day, and it was something like £1,000 a person. All right, we're only talking about a 3-star hotel in the middle of Spain, and you go a day earlier, and it's £500 per person.
Yeah,
How can that be legal? How can
Yeah.
that physically be legal? What, because one day is in the half term and the other day isn't? That can't be legal.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I get a little bit of inflation with the cost of aviation fuel and all. I get all that. You know, if someone said to me, "Oh, 6 weeks holiday," you know, last year it cost you 580 quid for a week in Spain. The next year it goes, "Oh, it's going to cost you £610. It's gone up by 30 quid." You'd go, 30 quid. I ain't worried. But it seems to have gone up from 580 quid to like 1,580 quid.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
know, it's crazy.
I'm off it.
I mean, I know you shouldn't say it, but we started taking the girls out of school.
Yeah.
For a week or two. And we got charged by the school £50 per child per adult. So it cost us an extra 100 quid. Well, I've just saved nearly £2,000 on the holiday. So there's your 100 quid.
Well, let's just say I've heard a lot of people over the last couple of, what would I say, year, that when the school did fine their children, the parents for taking them out, they wrote a nice email or letter back saying, "So you can charge me £50 for me not wanting my child to be taught, but when you want to take a day off, when you strike and you don't want to teach my child, you don't charge me anything. What's the difference?"
Yeah, 100%.
So
I've got to find childcare that day. Blah, de, blah, de, blah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just
You
say,
owe me £50.
yeah. Why don't all the parents put their bills in? Find the schools. Well, hang on a minute. You charge me 50 quid for taking a kid out for a day because I'm going on holiday, but when you choose not to teach my child, you don't charge me anything. No, I'm going to fine you 50 quid. It'd soon stop all that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would. It would soon stop it. But once again, we as a British people wouldn't worry about that. As you say, you found your loophole. Simple. Yeah, it saved me £2,000. I've had to pay 150 quid. You know, once again, I feel like I'm moaning at you again, Paul, but I'm not. I'm generally not moaning at you.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I cowered to it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Say, no, go, just say, no, I'm not paying it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Take me to court. Take me.
Yeah.
I'd rather, me personally, I don't have children, but if me, I'm one of them people. I'm like, look, without no disrespect, I've got that sitting on my desk. You know what? The final notice, but I'm taking it all the way. I was not. I take it as far as I possibly can. You know what I mean? Before I'm like, yeah, all right, no, okay, I'll pay it. I'll cough up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's gone to the ombudsman, that one. Do you know what I mean? I've appealed it 3 times now. I'm up at the highest level of ombudsman, you know. Especially it's like I'm not in the wrong. I'm not in the wrong. And that's what annoys me.
Yeah.
And that's what annoys me with this whole, we're always, we're governed again. It's that control again, isn't it? And, education is governed, you go from, we have to teach your children. But it's okay when the teachers don't want to teach. They're going to have to be taught this. They're going to have to take their options. They have to have this or this or this or this. They have to do a language. Why?
Yeah.
it drives me insane. It really does. It drives me insane how much, really, when we look at it, how much we are controlled.
Yeah, I think this
That's
is why you got record numbers now of people homeschooling.
yeah, yeah. But I think it's a great way of doing it.
Mm.
I'd find myself. Oh, by the way, you're not taking it. I'm going to give you 50 quid. Oh, what could I spend that on? Sorry, love. I've just got to find myself. We've got to find ourselves £50 because we haven't taught today. Where should we go? But no, that's what I'm saying. And I think that's the best thing to do, because if everyone started to homeschool, what would happen? They'd have to think about the schooling, wouldn't they? Then,
Oh yeah, totally. But yeah, again, yeah, we cower to it.
We cower to it, and fair play. I think the people do homeschool are brilliant. I really do. I think well on them, good on them, because it is sort of going against.
But again, you can't do it nowadays, mate, because there was both parents are at work all day just to survive and pay the mortgage and pay the bills. So who's going to be at home to school them?
But I think it's become easier after COVID, hasn't it? Because of still a lot of people now work from home. I'll just come into the office like a couple of times a month, just show your face. It's a lot easier now, isn't it? To you go on certain apps like Temu and all that thing. You can find an automatic mouse mover, so it looks like you're at home.
Yeah.
So
brilliant, isn't it?
People are catching on. People are catching on. Oh, Richie back. Sorry. But no, I suppose that's probably ran over time for that one. Do you not think?
Yeah,
I think
totally.
but no, to be fair, we've gone down many a rabbit hole. We have gone down, and people do. I don't know what Sandra was agreeing with us. I think she was agreeing with the teacher side of things. So if you've got any thoughts, guys, what you're, I don't know if Steve is still watching. Steve is tuned in, but Steve has very much changed his way of thinking. I'm not saying it's because of this show. That's not what I'm saying. But Steve does send me loads of videos and things like that, and it's like, I'm pretty sure, Steve, that go back 2 years ago when you was, just as you started this show, you would have never sent things like that to me, never.
Yeah.
And even with you look on his Facebook every now and again, he's posted something, you go, bloody hell, I weren't expecting that from you, Steve, because that's like my head of thinking, so that is,
Yeah, I like seeing that. I like seeing people sort of not change so much, just broaden their horizons, sort of thing. Their thinking, just don't be closed off to anything. Always give something a look. Make your own opinion.
No, I totally agree.
Mm.
Right, we have got one more. Play a video, wasn't it, Russell? Play something for everyone to hear, wasn't it? I think. Let's see if this works, shall we?
Well, yeah, you've got a couple of routes to go down. Don't forget, I think there's a bit of swearing in this video, if it's the one that I sent this morning.
Right, so as Paul just said, there might be a bit of swearing, so I do apologise for any language, but I am going to open this up and let's see where it takes us. I'm just waiting for it to load. Can you hear it?
No.
No, I can't. No, I can't stop it. No, I can't stop it. Did you hear anything?
No.
Right, let's have a look. So that obviously wasn't coming through the Oh, but then would it be coming out? Because I never had that up, would I? I think the video might have been taken down, Paul. Oh. Right. Bear with me. Right, I've got to come back because I've got to turn that up. I think this is how it's going to work. Right, I'm coming back. Right.
Fucking crazier. As you can see, former Chilean President Sebastián Pinera dies in a helicopter crash at 74 just yesterday. But before we go any further, I want everybody to be aware of the situation at hand and why we're talking about Chile. This just so happens to be what majority of southern Chile looks like at this very moment, as a series of deadly wildfires that killed over 112 people ravaged through the areas of southern Chile. Now stay with me, okay, because this is the primary reason of why we're speaking about Chile and the wildfires. As you can see, thousands of homes were destroyed in flames, which swept through the hilly settlements around the resort town of Viña del Mar starting Friday, propelled by high winds. A regional state of emergency was declared and a nighttime curfew imposed. Well, ironically, the same energy institutions that just so happen to be involved with rebuilding Maui in quotations, just so happen to have their 4th LA Conference on Sustainable Development of Energy, Water, and Environment Systems just on the 14th to the 17th of January 2024 in where? Ironically, if you look into as to why they're interested in Viña del Mar, you might see here Viña del Mar is considered Chile's top city to live in, work in, and visit, and ranks second behind only Santiago for education. And then a whole bunch of other pros for the area as well. And that doesn't seem to be the only article that seems to be talking about things like that. Now, what's ironic is the company named Hitachi just so happened to have a website just a couple months ago that just so happened to be deleted that clearly stated that Maui was supposed to be the first integrated SMART island. So that's pretty interesting. And the reason why it's so damn interesting is because of this. Oh, wow. You mean the SMART City Business Chile headquarters are at where? Huh. And then if you just so happen to go to their summit website, you might find things like this. And has anybody gained notice as to how many lithium mines are being built in southern Chile? I'm not laying claim to anything officially being true, but I hope I can at least connect the puzzle pieces for you a little bit easier. In the last episode, I just so happened to speak about a certain satellite that just so happened to be above Maui the day of the wildfires. Now, once again, not laying claim to anything officially being true, but the satellite just so happens to be owned by a company named CERN. CERN a couple of years ago just so happened to declare that they discovered the 5th force of nature, which just so happens to be something called cosmic energy. And the cosmic energy may or may not be collected via satellite. And when it is, it just so happens to be able to produce a specific beam, but you can't actually say that word openly here on TikTok. But it's ironic because I spoke about in the last video as well that there has officially been a Space Force unit created just last year, right? That is designated to defending the nation against adversary satellites that are capable of producing ground-based what? Yeah, once again, can't use that word. But gosh, that really makes you think, huh? Did you know Jeff Bezos just last year just so happened to build a SMART hub in the middle of the waters in Greece? And the main 2 areas that just so happen to communicate via data with the hub are Athens and Larissa. Wait, Athens and Larissa just had their worst fire seasons to date. Oh man, wait, what? It's not hard to research into these matters for yourself, people. I mean, come on. So many people rely on mainstream media and the news to paint this picture of truth for you. Holy shit.
Right. I can't unpair it. It was going crazy. I couldn't stop it. I didn't stop it. I couldn't stop it. I do apologise for anyone over on Post Talk because you sort of got the brunt of the first bit over again. So I couldn't turn it off quick enough. I have to do about 2 different things. But he spoke very fast. It felt like the video was sped up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's what we'll do for the benefit of everything. We'll focus on the second half of that video per se with the beam of light and satellite for everybody, because I think that makes sense for a previous show that we did about Hawaii and things like that. Does that sound all right, Paul?
Yeah. Well, it does seem to coincide with the Maui fires and things like that, you know, with people with the videos that were about at the time, you could sort of clearly see the beam of light, basically an energy weapon. It was a lot of chatter was about the energy weapon, wasn't it? You know, certain colours weren't burnt and things like that. Why were the houses and cars burnt, but the trees surrounding them were still leafy green. And I know, unfortunately, you could only hear that video but not see it, but it was a similar thing there. You see, miles of burnt houses, but the trees and that were still okay, which is a bit bizarre. But yeah,
he's sort of reiterating what's been out there, hasn't it? With the
why have we not heard anything about this as well? Why is it all these things you just don't hear anything about? Is it because people start looking at it thinking, well, hang on a minute, that don't make sense? And people like this guy here, he's clearly done his research, and I've seen a few videos. The only thing the first time I've heard on this video was the satellite by CERN, the company that does the Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know they had their own satellite.
It'd be very interesting to see where the satellite was at the time of the Hawaii incident.
Well, that's what he said. The Hawaii one, it was over Hawaii. He didn't say it was over Chile, but
well, yeah,
so
that'd be very interesting to see where this satellite was based.
Yeah, it's scary. It's damn scary. But again, it's going down that route of the 30-minute cities. So the company that's going to put forward a 30-minute city, which Hawaii was going to be the first smart island. But obviously, to do a smart island, you need to get rid of everything that's already there, to build back better, so to say. But the company that are building that 30-minute city is based in Chile. Their main headquarters is in Chile, in the area that's just had that massive fire. And let's be honest, looking at the area itself, and no disrespect, and I don't want to offend anyone, but it didn't look it looked quite poor, didn't it?
Well, it's southern, we look at Southern America, it's a Southern American state, isn't it? The part of the Americas. So
the majority of the area on that video looked quite poor.
I think if
even
sort of major cities, is it? Yeah, I think there's you look at Brazil. I think if it isn't, in the major town,
yeah.
I think, the further you go out, it is sort of
so
money isn't there, is it?
I mean, you're going to want, surely if you're going to have your headquarters somewhere like that, then they're going to want to surround their headquarters with your smart city that you're trying to promote and produce around the world, aren't you? So to me, that makes perfect sense. Let's get rid of all this clutter around us, and we can rebuild and make it, an advert for the future. And same with Maui.
It does almost feel like, though, that they are pushing this, this extraterrestrial feel as well a little bit. I'm with him with that. Do you know what I mean? It does. It almost feels like that they can. I think they could censor all them videos that, with the beams out and everything. If you was trying to hide the fact of it, you would get that deleted pretty quickly, wouldn't you?
Oh,
that's. It almost feels like, well, we've got to let them see it because we want them to, put that seed of doubt into your brain that the extraterrestrials are coming. This is down to them, not us.
But I still think that's in play, I still think Project Blue Beam is in play. And that things like this, I mean, how easy would it be if they could fabricate? Yeah, even Stephen Greer says the same thing, it's coming. It's only a matter of time. If we don't stop it, it's already started, what he was saying. The last decade alone has just been trial one. Apparently, that's one of the reasons we're seeing so many UFOs and that now, and unexplained things and anomalies. It's because it's all testing up for the big finale. So, God, that's a scary thought and all, that could easily wipe out quite a lot, and there will be destruction if you're talking about an alien invasion. If you want a one world army, one world government, what can happen on this planet that would make every country say yes, we'll unite? It will be an attack from outer space, wouldn't it?
And that's exactly, going down that, and almost preparing us for that. I think everything that we see at the moment and hear, and this farmers revolt sort of thing as well, quite easily, what they've tried to do is pull us into sort of living this life that potentially would happen after a catastrophic event of whatever they choosing. If it is an alien invasion, if it's something like sorry, I'm gonna yawn, it's really rude of me. I couldn't hold it. I could not hold that yawn.
It makes it worse the longer you try and hold it, doesn't it?
Yeah, all my sides and everything. Oh, what's that film? Is it 2012 with the Noah's Ark boats and things like that?
Yeah.
And, that sort of thing. I think that's in play. Yeah, I think that's in play with moving the things around.
So that kind of I know we was going to brush on another subject, and we're not going. I know we're not going to go into it, but I'll just quickly. That kind of makes sense why this Tucker Carlson, Vladimir Putin interview's gone ahead as well. Because the narrative at the moment, Putin's the devil, he's evil, he's this, he's that, blah, de, blah, de, blah. Zelensky's a hero, though. And they've put so much on this Tucker Carlson interview, even though, loads of people have interviewed Putin before, but now all of a sudden, and his reason for doing it, Tucker Carlson, he was like, I'm not saying I love Vladimir Putin. I'm not saying I love Russia. He said, I love America, and this is why I'm doing it. We're not getting told the truth. This is the trouble with, and again with the protest. No one's getting told the truth. He said, you haven't got to believe what he says. I haven't got to believe what he says. But let's go out there, ask the questions, see what he comes up with, this and that. I've seen a few of the answers. And I think it's quite a good interview, actually. I'm going to look forward to watching the whole thing. But now, if people do sort of change their mind about this fella or think, well, hang on a minute, we wasn't told that. Because already the European Union have put sanctions on Tucker Carlson for doing the interview. They said, all right, you're not going to be allowed to travel in Europe now. Why? Because he's a journalist. Look at what happened to Julian Assange. He told the truth, so they've banged him up for years. This is the trouble. So what if he does make people think, well, why wasn't we told that? We didn't know that. Well, that kind of makes sense, why he's done that or why he's done this and this and that. And then going back to the Project Bluebeam, if you did need to unite the world, you're going to want some superpowers in there, aren't you?
Yes.
Right, Russia and China are pretty tight at the moment, and they're huge military superpowers, aren't they? So you're going to want them on your side, aren't you? Really, let's be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
So that again, I didn't even think of it like that until you just said that about things working up to that, and that's when that just came into my head. I thought, well, what if that is all a play? What if this is all just a show leading up to that moment?
I generally do feel that it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't add up. There's things that we talk about just do not add up, and they're glaringly obvious that it doesn't add up. That's what gets me when it's so goddamn obvious. It's like, really, is people falling for this? Is people really listening to this? Because I can't see any other way. But why would you do that? And I think it's coming out more and more because there was I don't know if you've seen the LBC. What's his name? Is it Nick Ferrari? Is it Nick Ferrari in the morning LBC?
Yeah.
Did you see the video? They showed him the video of President Biden talking about the French bloke that died 25 years ago.
No, I haven't seen that.
If I can find it, I'll send it to you. But he was talking about a French leader died 25 years ago, walking back into the room. And this is on LBC. The TikTok said, how long are America going to put up with this?
Mm.
And that was the first time you'd thought, well, this is LBC's mainstream media in my eyes. It sort of leads you where you want it to go. It's not like a talk TV or a GMB News or whatever it is, where you could say they're going to throw you the harsh. This was LBC, and they're questioning the leader of the free world.
Hmm.
And if you read the comments, do you really think he's leading the world? Do you really think he's in charge of America? Could you imagine if this was Donald Trump? The bloke couldn't. Yeah. He couldn't speak. Biden could not speak. It was as I say, it was. But this is LBC reporting on this.
Hmm.
So I don't know where I was going with it.
You got so passionate into that then, Russ, didn't you? I was going somewhere, but it's gone.
I did a President Biden there and just totally mind blanked that he does every sentence. But I think that my point was being is that we've got the mainstream media leading us down this pathway of like President Biden may not be capable.
It's all a show, wasn't it? That's what I was saying, and that's what led on to that. Yeah,
I think that's what it was. I think I'm sort of saying like if you're getting someone sort of like LBC, which it normally sits on the fence. It's not a talk TV. It's not a GMB News. It's more of a BBC, ITV, Channel 4 sort of news.
It's certainly got a narrative behind it, hasn't it?
Yeah. But they let this rip. If I find it, I'll send it over to you, Paul.
Yeah. Please,
but
that's interesting because you saying that a couple of things I have seen about this interview that's one of the things when he said about President Biden and Putin said, "What makes you think Biden's running the country?" He said,
"Yeah,
that's a deep state that's running that. It doesn't matter what president sits in that White House; they don't run the country. They're just do the bidding." And I thought, well, that was interesting, which is the sort of thing that you've been saying for quite some time now, Russ. It sounded like I was talking to you.
And that is, I just feel that, and we can all sit here and, I think a lot of people would say, it'd be good for Donald Trump to get in. He'll only get put in if the powers that be want him in. And people think there'll be drastic change. They're only going to let him have what he wants to have, what he's allowed to have. At the end of the day, this sounds really blasé, but anyone could step into that presidency and do a better job than Mr. Biden.
Gotcha.
And if it's only 4 years, because he can only sit another 4 years, can't he, Mr. Trump? I think the powers that be will suffer that 4 years. Why upset the American people anymore? Let's get them back on side. Let's build the bridges again. How are we going to build the bridges? Oh, let's put someone back in charge of what we feel that the American people need. What are we? We're truly American. We love America. That's what personifies that. Make America great again. I just think it's all a facade. I generally do. I just think not like it would. I think I just play it to how I think. I just don't. I think they're just very, very clever people.
Yeah.
I think everything they do and everything they allow it to do is done for a reason. can I actually fix what Mr. Biden has done and why they did it? I think it was to put it rock bottom and give them no sense of going forward. I think it's very split in America.
Pretty much mission accomplished, isn't it, at the moment? It's a very scary time for them out there.
Political wise, I wouldn't want to, it's like, it feels like Donald Trump is like the best of a bad bunch. That's how they're making it be.
Mm-hmm.
The press don't like him. Not many people like him. Obviously,
I like him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
I do. I think he's great. He's a bit out there, but then so am I.
Straight talking.
Yeah.
They let him talk, and that's what I've always said. I think if someone come along in this country and was straight talking, they would win hands down. I think they would win hands down. Marianne likes Trump.
Yeah.
I think you should put likes 2 between and Trump.
They had was it a homeless person sort of snuck into one of his hotels, didn't they? And managed to stay in a room for a couple of nights, and he got wind of it. And rather than kick him out, he's just let them stay there.
But it would never be reported on.
No.
That would never be reported.
He does a lot. He does a lot for people. He does. Yeah.
But that would never be reported on.
Nah.
That would never be, because that would then signify that he's liked. They don't want that.
But it's the same. The military we liked, and the changes he made to the military out there. They were moaning about lack of equipment, this and that. It all got sorted when he was in charge. And I remember that one of the Biden things when he was coming up. I think Donald Trump was president at the time, and they were saying, "Oh, he's, where's Trump? Oh, he's off playing golf somewhere. This and that, blah 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 blah." He wasn't. It was Christmas Day, and he was out with the troops in Afghanistan or wherever it was, and he was serving them Christmas dinner, So that's the kind of guy he was. I thought, I've got more power to you there, mate. I like that.
And but that's what they have to. Let's just say, I think the press are doing him a favour. If he become liked, I don't think he would get anywhere near as what he was needed to be.
You've just got to show clips of Biden. That's all it needs. That will turn people towards Trump any day, isn't it?
But when we must be sort of nearing the time though, where we know who are the candidates coming to, because they sort of don't know. They go along for like 6 months building up to November. So there's been no idea. We haven't officially had who we're voting for, who we've got to.
No,
not us.
You had the Kennedy Jr. bloke, didn't you?
No, I like him.
For the Democrats, I liked him. I like him a lot. But he's very, very frowned upon out there,
Yes.
Because let's be honest, America's a pharmaceutical country, really, isn't it? It's a corporation, and he's very much against what's been going on out there and the things he's brought up in the question.
Yeah, so definitely. He's proper gone for jugular.
Yeah, definitely. But I like him. If he got in, I'd be pleasantly surprised.
But it's a Kennedy again, though, isn't it? It is a Kennedy, so we know what punch the Kennedys have. It's not the first time that we've had quite a few Kennedys, quite in power around sort of government. Because I think
when they try and change things for the better for the American people, that's when the old assassins come a running.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
We all know, there's a good conspiracy that we all know why. Obviously, Kennedy got shot because he was going to talk about the extraterrestrial treaty and everything like that. One of the reasons why he potentially could have got shot. and more. But
And more.
yeah, but we were never going to know. We're never going to know because, I say, anyone who takes a presidency, anyone who takes the prime minister's job or presidents or whatever around the globe, whatever they are called, I think they're just all puppets. They're all put in by the powers that be. That's who they want in at the time. It makes
And let's be honest, no matter what decisions are made, you're never ever going to please everyone, are you?
Of course you're not.
You're
You're never
always
gonna
going to have an enemy, regardless of the decisions you make. Whether it's the
Absolutely.
majority of people, it's still going to upset other people. So it is a tough job. It is a tough job. But you've got to be able to stand here and speak a bit of English and not fumble and mumble around your words and feet.
Well,
Sorry.
there's either two ways, you know, Mr. Biden is. He's either a robot and he's glitching, you know, or he's just, I hate to say it, too old for the job. And, you know, I'd like to go
hybrid something. What?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because you look at him when he was number 2 to Obama, there was a total difference.
Oh, there's two completely different people.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm not against Biden. People, you know, I know he just makes me laugh, and I just don't. You know, it is like, for me, it's just like Boris Johnson on crack cocaine. To be fair, you know, we had a bumbling idiot that we liked, but you just, if he went on a rant, you didn't understand a word. Yeah.
Go to work, but stay at home. Stay at home, but go to work.
Yeah,
What?
yes, that's what I'm saying. But we had our bumbling idiot, you know.
Yeah. Been there, seen it.
The USA, we've had it. We know, we feel your pain. Even though that I have to say, I've always held Boris Johnson in quite high esteem, because I think if it wasn't for Boris Johnson and his Partygate, I still think today we probably still would have been in lockdown. So I actually praised Boris Johnson for what he did when got caught, because we got out pretty quick and he couldn't go back on his word. So I quite liked that. But no, thank you for everyone that's joined us. We've made it towards the end of the show, which is good. We had quite a good show. You know, it's been deep, it's been rantified, but
touch wood, no glitches, Russ.
You know what? I don't know about that, because I don't quite know what went on Pulse Talk, but it went yellow. I don't know why, but it's gone white again. So, but we were live and we haven't had no glitches, and you know, not as yet. So, it seems to be all right. I'm glad we're on YouTube, because people can see us on a more easier kill than Facebook. Please like and subscribe over on YouTube. Journey Through the Unexplained if you haven't already. But no, thank you ever so much, Mr. Paranormal Paul. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Heidi says, great show again. Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you to all the watchers and listeners. We will be back. We are back next week. We are back next week, aren't we? I think we are. Yeah. I think so, yeah. I haven't got the radio ending for people over on Pulse Talk, so I don't think I have anyway. I've only got the opening. I can't see the ending. I don't know where the ending. Oh, it's there. But can I drag it? No. Don't know why, but it's not allowing me. So can't help you on that one. So it'll be a quite abrupt end, everybody over on Pulse Talk. But thank you so much for everybody on Pulse Talk Radio. Please stay tuned, and we'll be back next week. And take care, and see you later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for everybody who has joined us on YouTube and Facebook tonight. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Hope it hasn't gone too deep, and I hope it hasn't upset anyone. It is not our, you know, we don't go to upset anybody. It's just our opinions. It's just our opinions. We would never put anyone's opinions down for if they've got a different one to us. So take care. See you later. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.